All righty, guys. Welcome to the Keaton Nelson Show. Today's guest is an entrepreneur who broke free from the grips of the corporate world to build his own legacy and now helps others do the same. He spent 13 years working a 9 to 5, like many do, as a retail sales job, and until he realized or decided that life wasn't for him anymore. Congratulations, man. 13 years. That's awesome. His flipping journey began in 2013, and in January 2016, he was able to quit his corporate management position, leaving behind full benefits, 401k, the 4 weeks of paid vacation, the comfortability, in exchange for the ability to do what he wanted and when he wanted, right? He currently flips 10 to 15 properties at a time. That sounds insane. With real estate investors to help them launch and scale their house flipping and wholesale businesses all over the US. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we got the man, the myth, Jeremy Rubin, aka the Friendly Flipper. Man, it's so awesome to have you on this podcast, brother. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Keaton. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. That was an amazing intro. You told my whole story. I don't know what else I have for you.
We'll figure it out, man. So, dude, tell me where you're from.
I'm from California. I'm from the Central Coast of California. I've been living here for since 2000, so 22 years now. Then prior to that, the LA area, Northeast Los Angeles County, Palmdale, California. That's where I was born and raised up until we moved to the Central Coast. So been here. If you're not familiar with California geography, take the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and just about in the middle, right about.
Got it. Yeah. I got a brother up in the Redwoods, man, like 3 hours north of San Francisco, hippie town, you know? It's amazing. The Redwoods and geez, yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. We'd always fly in through to San Francisco and go up there and visit them. I haven't been down to LA yet or any of the other areas in Cali, but I'm not sure I want to visit there right now anyway, from what I see going on, you know?
Yeah. It's wild. Come on down anytime. We'll give you a tour.
Cool, man. So bro, how'd you grow up in LA? Were you rich, poor, middle class? What would you say? Mom and dad still together? What was that life like when you were growing up?
Yeah. So, middle class, east side of Palmdale was where it all started. So, parents are still together.
Got any brothers and sisters or anything?
Yeah. So, grew up the eldest of two brothers, and then discovered I had a half sister later on in life.
Oh shit.
So that was basically gained a sister, two nephews, and a brother-in-law overnight a few years back.
That's nuts, man.
So man, it's just growing up pretty normal, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a blessing, man. Like people they almost feel like you got to come from like these tough backgrounds and have this amazing story, but like you got to have like take that as a huge blessing to have that in your life, you know, and that you didn't have to go through any BS, you know. Not to say that it's all perfect and sunshines and roses, but like sometimes people come on these podcasts and their stepdad was beating their mom and beating the crap out of them, and all this other stuff was going on in the household, and had no they were dealing crack in the 9th grade and stuff, all that type of stuff. But
no crack dealing in the 9th grade. But we all have our things that shape us, for sure,
without a doubt, man. How did you end up just in the corporate world? Did you go to school before? Like, did you go to college, or like were you out of high school trying to look for a job? You're like doing like Verizon, AT&T sales or something like that, right, man?
Yeah, Verizon. So that all started with basically I was hustling. I always had this work mentality. Like my parents instilled in me from early on, if you want something, you can have it, but you got to earn it. Like it's on you to figure out, what's going to take to make that happen. So, from like age 6 or 7, I had this first idea of I made my first business card right around there. It was handwritten, hand drawn. I wanted to be a policeman. That was my thing back in the day. So
Nice.
I had a business card. And my dad worked at a print shop. Actually, my grandfather owned a print shop, and my dad worked there. And my dad went and he made copies of it for me on the printing press. And so I had actually, his business cards, call anytime, day or night, it said on there with a little badge. Some of the letters probably reversed because I was like 6 or barely knew how to write. Always had this like business mindset. My that just wanting to earn and just get ahead and do stuff. I don't know. It's been early on. So then like I started this bike polishing business shortly after I was like 8, where I connected the dots. Like for the first time I saw, okay, my neighbors all raced BMX bikes and they would come home with these dirty bikes and they would, they got to look good for the next race. Right. So I go out, my mom takes me to, I think it was like H&E hardware or something back in the day.
Yeah.
And got this can of Mother's polish, this like chrome polish. It was like $7 or something. It was a pretty big investment at the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So then I go and I approached the neighbor, to be my first like prospective, actually first person I ever pitched now that I think about it. I go up to the neighbor. It's his dad. Andy's my age or so. The neighbor, his dad, Scott. I'm like, hey, I see you guys, he's have the bikes coming back from the races and they're dirty and, wanted to see if, I could offer my bike polishing services here. I got this sweet can of Mother's polish. And he was like, oh, that's cool, man. But then he's like, check it out. Look what I got. And he points over. It has the same can of polish right there. And I'm like, oh, man, well, I guess I got the right stuff. But he was already a step ahead. So I think that was my first live pitch. But then my first customer actually was my dad. He was like, yeah, I would like you to polish me and your mom's bike. So they were supportive of my efforts, but they always were, it wasn't like we'll give stuff to you. It's like, here, we'll set you up. But I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, man.
How'd that lead to the corporate world?
Yeah, no. I'm glad you touched on that story. 'Cause, dude, when I was younger, I mean, I didn't even know what car detailing business was, but I was like going around in the neighborhood. It was like townhouses, right? You go knock on door to door. And I'd tell people I clean their cars for, I don't know, I made a pitch. I had like a whole, package built out, but I was totally into that type of stuff. I was 12 years old caddying and like, trying to figure out how to be better and better at caddying and make more money per bag and all sorts of stuff. So I ride with you there, but I think you're getting at the point that, your parents were, they wanted you to work hard and work for what you got, so how did that translate to when you were working at Verizon? I mean, sales isn't, I don't know if you're a salary employee, but I mean, working on commission is not always easy either.
Yeah. So where that led to was I worked in high school. So pretty much as soon as I could legally, I worked. And even before that, I mean, I used to pull nails during summer out of boards that they would, so old fences that they would tear down. Me, my brother, a couple other guys, we used to pull nails for $5 an hour out of these boards because they would use the boards again for, distressed furniture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was just whatever I could do, always hustling to make money. And, then it was washing dishes. And then the next step up from there was, and getting screamed at by this owner in Greek of this. I'm like, doing what I can. But then that didn't last that long because I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I applied at Circuit City and got hired on as holiday help at Circuit City, organizing CDs basically, and just, help bringing up customers during the holiday season there. And then I guess I did a good enough job at that where they kept me on. And so then I moved over eventually to selling electronics, consumer electronics, computers, digital cameras, scanners. And what a lot of people don't realize because they see me now is that I was super introvert. I mean, I still am introvert, but super socially awkward and like just afraid to talk, really afraid to express myself, just feeling like super self-conscious, just very, very, whatever you think of as the like definition of an extreme introvert, that was pretty much me. Like I only spoke when I felt like I really had to, and just didn't even like, I don't know, I just wasn't, just very shy, even, you could say. But I liked people. So it wasn't like I didn't like people, and I wish I wasn't that way. So like this whole, so I was growing up in this dynamic of, damn, like at high school, I was the guy who would, in the circle, we're standing around in the circle chatting, I would never say anything. Why? Because I didn't speak up. I felt like my voice wasn't important. I felt like they would think I was stupid. So I grew up with a lot of self consciousness and low self-esteem issues for, I don't know why. Like I can't place where these things came from, but just like ever since a long time. So we're getting a little deeper here, but
no, this is so cool. This is awesome, man. Keep going.
Okay. So I was homeschooled from grade 0 to my first day on a campus public school was my sophomore year, 15 years old in high school. So
as a sophomore in high school is your first day in public school?
First day walking like what the, like just mind blown in a lot of ways. And
I bet.
And I'm grateful for the homeschool experience because
Sure, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Great, we got Google listening to me over here. So I was grateful for that, but I really wanted to go to school ever since actually 7th grade, when I started making friends in with the neighborhood kids, because I would hang out with neighborhood kids. I didn't resonate a lot with the homeschool groups that we would associate with from time to time. I didn't feel like I fit in there. I felt like the normal kids were the ones that went to school. I don't know. I know my parents were going to do their best in terms of education, because my mom had been a teacher previously and in LA County, and she was just like, I don't want you to, if we can do something about it at home, I'd rather do that. So and this was when it was not nearly as popular as it is now. So
for homeschooling, right? Yeah, that's a good point.
Going against the grain in a lot of ways there. But I don't think that helped. I mean, that experience great from an education standpoint, not having to, go at the pace of the class, but be able to just learn things and do, hands-on stuff. And but it wasn't great for my social exposure piece of it. So
time, yeah.
Along with being, pretty introverted, I kind of had a lack of exposure in comparison to, I guess, what the majority of people would. So 15 years old, I finally convinced my parents, like, hey, I want to go to school. Like, let me go to school. Let me do this. It was a new high school opening in that city, in the town of Nipomo. So I think that helps too. I was
to be able to pitch it to them and get them on board with the idea.
It's a new school. It's only, brand new, stuff. Good, it's not the old overcrowded school that they were trying to alleviate pressure from. So walked on the campus, 15 years old, didn't know like much at all, but within about a year's time, I really realized, like, man, I like being around people. I like people, but what the hell? Like, what can I do to get better? How can I get better at this? Like, so I decided to dive right in. Like, and I consider myself way below average at this time from a social standpoint.
Sure.
But I'm aware of it. So I'm like, fuck, what can I do? Like to overcome this? Because
that must be wild too. I mean, like just being like aware that it's, because like then sometimes when you're aware of like your flaws or your self-conscious, makes you like, it perpetuates itself. It's like a vicious cycle, but it didn't seem like that was the case for you. You were just like, no, I'm just going to attack this.
Yeah, but it definitely wasn't easy. It was like, so just one step at a time. So that's why I was like, okay, well, let me get a job with sales, because then I can talk about something. I was knowledgeable with electronics, and then I don't have to talk about it takes the pressure off me, because anyone who's watching or listening, like, if you know, social anxiety is like, it's real. It like just freezes you in a way, like you can't even like really think the way you could if you would normally. So it's like you got less like you could even do, kind of. So it's kind of crippling. It's weird. But later on in the entrepreneur journey is where I really figured out how to like overcome some of these things, and we'll get to that, I'm sure. But I wanted to get around things that I could talk about, phones, computers, stuff like that. And I just kind of had a little bit of a knack for it. Not really as a pushy salesperson at all, but more of just because I wanted people to like me. I was like, hey, I want friends. I want to know more people. So like, and so I was just energetic and just talked about the product and stuff, and still some awkward pauses in between, but those would kind of, become fewer and more further between. I kind of got a little bit better at just hanging out.
No, that's all. I think like being likable is like one of the top skills to be a salesperson in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if someone doesn't like you, they're never going to buy from you, no matter how good your product is.
100%. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you have less of a product, but they like you, they'll pick you over the other guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, being likable for sure. But yeah, keep going, man.
And so I was selling cameras and things, went from $8.50 an hour to $9.10 hourly.
Big money.
Big money. And it was doing pretty good as far as like, I was finishing top 3 in the store every month consistently in terms of volume, because
feels good.
Sales volume we would look at. But it wasn't commission. It was after Circuit City went off of commission and kind of destroyed their own business that they had built in a way. But it was also at the same time that Verizon kiosks had they started to install these Verizon kiosks in Circuit City stores.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already at that point even selling cell phones indirectly through for Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon as Circuit City. So I'm familiar with it. I can talk the talk. I'm already selling. So the Verizon reps were like, hey, you're killing it over here, but you're not making commission. We're making commission. Why don't you come work for us?
Yeah. And
needless to say, the store director was not so happy about that at Circuit City. He was
for sure. Yeah, I can imagine.
And then after that, there was a policy where you have a 6-month waiting period if you're going to go from Verizon. So
you were the guy who got by.
I was the guy that got by. I don't know if it was because of me or what, but thankfully it worked out the way it did. And man, someone gave me a chance at Verizon. I was still like not even knowing, like just so little at this point. I just I could sell cell phones and computers and stuff because it was easy for me. But there was a manager who when I interviewed at Verizon who he believed in me and gave me the shot. And then that was it. Started part-time sales, and that led to full-time and then supervisor. And
how many years were you at Verizon before, like, when was it? 2016 you ended up getting out of here, right? So
yeah.
So how many? So you were there for 11 years.
Yeah, to the day.
So, yeah, that's wild. To the day. That's kind of cool.
It's planned escape.
That's wild, man. So in the 11 years, what did you start out making when, it's probably still hourly plus a little bit of commission, I'm guessing? What were you making a week or a month,
Yeah. So like when it started, it was part-time, but it was sales. So it was about 2/3 of the pay was commission, plus you had control over it. But it was like around $45,000, $50 a year at part-time. I think full-timers were making like 60, 70. So it wasn't that much of a difference.
Yeah, but what when you were, let's say 2015 to 2016, how much were you making then?
Just under 90 when I left.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Mainly, you say still 2/3 of the commission, or you were manager at that point and you're all salary?
Manager, and then it kind of almost goes like 2/3 hour or salary, and then like 1/3 commission. Kind of, we have less control over it.
So more about what your people do?
Basis, because to accelerate on your commission with when you're managing the team, everybody's got to kill it versus when you're solo, you're in control of your own actions. So I don't know. I definitely enjoy the competition of selling. Like once I got into management, shortly, not too, it was cool for a while, but after that, it's kind of, I realized, okay, there's got to be more to this life than just
selling phones or like trying to,
or babysitting other people selling phones now. Not even as fun, but I'm kind of doing it for the money because, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. That's cool, man. So, but you flipped your first house in 2013. Is that right? Or you started to?
I started studying in 2013. And then it took me about a year to get my first wholesale deal, first wholesale flip. Basically you flip the contract. You're not actually doing any work to the house. You're just assigning your ability to purchase the property to someone else for a fee. So you go in, negotiate a good price that would be attractive to an investor or someone else who would want to buy it. And then basically you make a little bit of, between.
Yeah. And I'll even dumb it down even further for listeners. It's like, okay, you go buy a house for $10,000 and it would sell for 15. And then you go to your buddy who's an investor and sell it to him for 12. You make $2,000, he makes 3. Everyone's happy, and the seller's happy too because he just sold his house without any hassle, right?
That's it.
It's cool, man. And I mean, we'll dig into like, how hard it is to find a deal, and maybe you can drop some little nuggets here and there too. But I mean, you took 3 years, or I guess it was 2 after you got your first deal, to decide to quit your job. Yeah. I mean, was there a point where you were like, matching your income with the wholesaling or with flipping, or like what? Why did you decide to like? All right, why was 2016 and not 2015 the time to quit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I started off by wholesaling and doing assignment deals, and that in itself was like groundbreaking because I was like, oh wow, this actually really works, especially after the first one and just hearing about it and then it online and then it actually coming to fruition. But my goal was flipping. Like my goal was always to flip a house. I knew the wholesaling had potential, like you could make income with that, but my true goal was like, okay, I want to flip a house. So I didn't want to leave my corporate job, the security that I thought I had of paycheck every other week that I'd been conditioned for since I was like 15 to just, okay, I know I'm getting paid because I put in my hours. I didn't want to give that up. I was really afraid to give that up.
A lot of people are in that position.
Yeah.
I mean, like when they're thinking of towing in entrepreneurial spaces, it's terrifying to give away that security blanket,
It's I mean, it's because you don't know, you know what you know, which is that, and you don't know the unknown is, I don't know if it's going to work or not, especially before it's been proven. And
sometimes there's a lot of people in your ear telling you it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On top of you not knowing it, everyone else is saying it's not going to work.
Yeah, or why are you doing this? Like you have everything, like you got paid vacation, they paid for your schooling. Like what more do you want? Like why do you want more? Why do you want to be better? What's like, so there's all this, like you're going against like the societal norms in a lot of ways.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely, man. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to make that point. It's scary, and there's a lot of people talking shit in your ear, and you got to shut it out. And but anyways, you didn't want to quit the job. You're sticking with your income, but you're starting to make some coin on the side with this real estate shit, right?
Yeah. So I started, and I put that right back into the business. So I got my first deal from a Craigslist ad. So $0 marketing. It was me putting an ad out there. Want to sell your house? I'm not an agent. ... And that was also my first attempt at writing copy. So it's crazy how all these things, which I'm still not good at it, I would say, but at least I don't know, that worked. It was good enough. So,
right. It got you paid, man. That's what matters. Yeah.
So it was just taking action. That was a huge part of all of that. Like all of like that I kind of skipped over, but really like to get that first deal, it was just action. And I really started embracing this idea of massive action. Just after listening to podcasts and just scrolling through thousands of posts on Bigger Pockets and just watching every YouTube video I could. But so it was all out there, but I hadn't done it yet. I'd done the wholesale, but what got me there was just continuously telling myself, you know, if they could do it, I could do it. If they could do it, I could do it. And like programming myself with that, because I just, that's what I leaned on. Like I derived so much like strength and faith from just that, just being like, hey, look, they're just people. If they could do it, I could do it.
They're just people. That's, dude, if you're listening, I don't know how much, I'll ask you later on, but I'm sure you're crushing it now after sticking with it for a long time. You're probably making a lot of money. There's no difference from Jeremy than you. If you're thinking about starting wholesaling or flipping houses, man, you can do it. People have done it in harder markets than there is right now. I want to make that point. And those people that you're following on social media, same thing. They put their pants on one leg at a time. You know what I mean? Just like you and me.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's funny to think, but there was a time that I didn't think that way.
Sure.
Like, and especially after you start hanging around with more, I guess you could say affluent people or stuff, or just circles of people that have more money, then you see it and you realize it was like, wow, like we're all just the same. Like, but if you're not from that and you're looking always like up at that, I guess you could say, or at that from outside, you think like, oh, they're different in some way. But really it's like, so the great idea of the Great Equalizer is like other people that are either have what you want or doing what you do. The only difference is they have the information and they're operating differently.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And once I realized that, it's like, okay, if they could do it, I could do it. And that's, I mean, empowering right there. So,
Amen. That's awesome, brother. You have somewhere else you're going with that?
Okay. So getting the confidence to leave the job.
Yeah.
So I had to get that first deal. I had to get that first flip deal done. So that's why I waited. Why I didn't leave in 2015. I purchased that first. Okay, so I was reinvesting money I was making from the deals into marketing. The first deal came from Craigslist. After that, I started doing paid marketing in the form of postcards, little yellow postcards.
Oh, yep.
One was out. That got more leads coming in.
You still do that? You still do postcards and stuff now?
Right now, this minute I do letters. But sometimes, but we still do direct mail. Yeah.
So one of my points is direct mail still works.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But at that time I was like, I was trying to do best bang for the buck, and postcards are about half cost. And they still do work very well. So that's what got me the very first lead that could be a potential flip that I looked at, where there was all the conditions were there for it to work. It had been a family rental for like 30 years that the tenants finally moved out. So the family that owned it either needed to put a bunch of work into it before they rented it out again, or put a bunch of work into it before they sold it. But as is, it was just very outdated and not habitable. You could say, barely habitable. I'm borderline.
Right.
So pretty much no maintenance done over 30 years. So, and they own it free and clear. So I knew I had to make them a cash offer. I didn't know where the cash was going to come from, but I didn't really worry about that. I was like, okay, well, I'll figure that out if they say yes. So I made
That's awesome. Right. You're like, I got no money to my name to really be making a cash offer for this. but I'm just going to ask them anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Like, really? It's like, I got no business offering $190,000 cash.
beautiful. This is like the
Really?
secret sauce to entrepreneurship. You make a decision, you figure it out afterwards. You built the plan on the way down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, I know that's, hey, if those people that are doing what I want to do are entering this interaction with a cash offer, that's what I got to do. So figure out the rest later. Let me get in that lane and do it. But I learned a ton working at Verizon, as you could imagine. And
Sure.
as much as it was not where I wanted to be in the end, just I'm super grateful for all of the experiences gained through that decade of just sales and management, because it's little things that it taught me. But like one of those was the optional close, just giving your buyer options and making it, giving them choices versus
Instead of yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. Give an example, right? So I'm a seller. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a seller. I got an old beat up house. Let's say it's like, I own it free and clear, and you come knocking at my door.
Okay, so we get to talking.
Yeah.
We walk the house. I get to understand your situation. We're at the kitchen table. So I'm going to present you with 3 offers, and that's what I did with this one. A cash offer of $183,000. So just straight up cash in your pocket, you get to take it. A seller finance offer in the middle, which was $190,000 plus I will pay you $700 and change a month on top of that. So after 6 months, you'll net $194,000, like bottom line. So now you're looking at 183, 194. Third option I've got for you, we'll call this one 6 months, same as cash. This one, it's 0 down. There's no monthly payment, but I will cash you out at the end at $192,500
Of the 6 months?
after 6 months. So a little more. So it's 12,000 more than my cash offer. It's a little bit less than my other offer. It's more. I mean, so 190 plus payments is going to net me more.
Right.
This one's 192.5, but that's it.
And you get it all at once.
But it's in 6 months.
So let's say someone's thinking about doing this, or they are doing this, and they're contacting sellers. They haven't had any luck, and they haven't got anyone. Can you walk through what each one of those, or maybe just the last one, what that does for you as a flipper? Like what it creates you time and possibilities of resources, etc. Like, so go ahead. Yeah.
So all 3 of these work for me. If they take any one of the, the cash one, I'll have to figure that'll create a new problem. Where am I going to get the cash? But
right.
Other 2 are pretty much gravy. In fact, the third option isn't even that attractive, and it's not supposed to be. It's just a third option, kind of a placeholder, which is, okay, so I'm not going to get anything now. I'm not going to get any payments, and I'm going to get something in 6 months.
But I want my money now, or whatever is what they're thinking, right?
But if I want my money now, I'm giving up 11 or 12 grand. Mm-hmm. So how about that one option B? How about that Goldilocks just right in the middle, where actually they're going to net the most, which would be, okay, here's a 190 purchase price. That sounds good. Like, yeah. Okay, 190. And then plus I'm going to get payments. So I'm going to net 194. And they went for it.
That's cool.
Option B. They were like, okay, we'll go with this one.
How long did you finance it out for, though?
For 6 months.
That's it. It's 6 months at 190. But how did you get your first payment? Did you have that money?
I did have that money. I had some money from the wholesaling. So basically from there, I just had to figure out, I had to fund the renovation out of pocket, and did that with, what I could out of pocket and on credit cards. And then just had to maintain, just had to be able to write that check every month, which was at 5% interest.
That's a big check, though.
So, which, 700 bucks.
Oh no, I thought it was 190 split into 6.
Oh, no.
I was like, that's a big payment.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, think balloon loan. So
Okay, got it.
on those two structures are all of it's due at the very end, at that
Got
100
it.
day 180. And everything up until then, on option B is a monthly payment. On the
Yeah.
Option C, it's nothing.
So that's awesome, man. Because like people are thinking, oh man, I gotta have 40 grand, or I gotta have 20 grand or something. I gotta have some money in my pocket. I'm like, dude, go out and work full time for a week. You can find $700. You know what I mean? Like anyone could, you know what I'm saying? And
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, like,
kind of challenge what is the kind of traditional way of, I mean, before this, all I knew is, okay, when you buy a house, you go to a bank and it's a 30-year mortgage, and like you have to get approved, and
Yeah.
or if you're rich, you pay cash. But I didn't know this whole realm existed called creative real estate, where it's like whatever you create and you agree to, and the seller agrees to, go ahead, do your business.
yeah, that's cool, man. So you've been doing this now, what, 4 to 6 years? 6 years now?
Yeah, 6 years full time. So like things that you might think like, okay, like my traditional me, like old school thinking along the lines of buying a house cash if you're rich or with a mortgage, a balloon payment. Oh my God, that's scary. That's evil. That's like, oh, like predatory, or,
Yeah.
or variable interest rates or short term. Like, why would anyone ever want a 5-1 short term, like adjustable rate loan? I didn't understand any of that. Those
Yeah.
are all tools that allow you to conduct business. And of course, yeah, you wouldn't want a balloon payment on your home that you live in.
Right.
But it's like when you start looking at things other ways, oh, okay.
Now, in that 6 months, you're renovating and trying to relist it? Is that what you're trying to do so that you can sell it before the 6 months are up and then you just cash out?
Yeah, that's it. Basically, I've got 6 months to complete the renovation and put it on the market and close, get an offer accepted and go through escrow and sell. And we ended up finishing just before the 6 months, came in just prior to.
How much you make on that first flip?
Just about $44,000.
Damn, man, that's awesome.
And that was in December.
Just one.
December 2015. Just one. That was it. That's what gave me. Then it was real. It was like, okay, I just replaced half of my yearly income with one deal that I was able to pretty much do this part-time on the side while I was still working here. So that's what gave me the confidence in both myself and the business, as well as in my bank, to know that, okay, I can go for it now. And so just
cool.
Put my 2 weeks notice in, and to the day, 11 years to the day, made the exit. Because I saw so many people go not on their terms in the corporate world.
Right.
Just constantly this just cycle of, people coming and going.
Yeah.
And I started to realize after a while, here's another mindset shift that I had. It was like, man, they need me more than I need them. Like, but prior to that, I was so grateful for the job.
Verizon, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Verizon, they need you more than you need them.
Because everyone else was coming and going. This employee turnover, like over the years, people would either just get written out of the business or they would do something else. And I was like, dang, how come I'm still here? Like I'm either, I guess I'm doing something right, but I relied so much. I thought that was like it. Like I didn't think I could get another better job, because I didn't really ever have, because it kind of, due to limited exposure, just, from Circuit City to Verizon, there was a whole bunch of different things I didn't know. Now I'm like, man, you can always get another job. Like if you got the skill set, you can always go back to the corporate world. If you're afraid of taking a leap into entrepreneurship because you think you can't get a job later, like if you get a job now, your skills you could do it again later. Like
that's right.
I didn't have that belief at the time. So it's weird looking back how many things like it's all, so much is in his mindset.
Dude, all of it is. It's like we said before, the people who are doing the things that you want to be doing are only able to do that. I mean, one, you said information. There's knowledge and information, right? That's something kind of a variable, but it's their behaviors and how they act and operate, right? And what controls how you act and operate? It's your beliefs.
Yep.
Where do you get your beliefs from? Your thoughts, your perpetuating thoughts that you have day in and day out, over and over. And the only way to change it is to get new thoughts in your head that will slowly change your beliefs. Then you change your beliefs, which will start affecting your behaviors and actions. And the next thing you know, you start behaving and acting like those people. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah, it's crazy how it's like we're very programmable.
Yeah, we are.
And it's kind of take charge of, because automatically we're being programmed all the time. So it's like once you get a hold of, okay, here, let me start.
You can start programming yourself.
And start programming myself. You start tapping in.
Yeah, and then how do you do that? You start listening to people like Jeremy here. You start following podcasts. You start reading books. You start following people on Instagram and social media and consuming their content. And they're going to slowly give you new thoughts that are going to change your beliefs about yourself even. And, so like, it's really be careful about what you put in your eyes and your ears,
Sure. So powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you realize it, it's like, dang, this whole time I've been consuming all this.
Yeah, a lot of it's nonsense too, like for some reason it seems like, I don't know if it's government, I don't know who it is or if it is on purpose, but there's a lot of people feeding dumb stuff into our brains, just with mainstream. Yeah, anything that's mainstream, I want to also paint a picture of where you're at right now, man, because I think this is so important. We talked about where you've been, kind of how you got your first few steps in your first deal. Dude, you crushed it. You made 44K on one deal while you're still working full time. Like, that is awesome. But what about right now? You've been doing this for 6 years full time, 10 to 15 properties. Are you making, is it 10 to 15 properties every 6 months that you're flipping and you're making, 400K every 6 months? Or is it like, tell me, like, where are you at? Where can someone be going if they start to go on this path, if they stick with it for 6 years like you have? Like, what do they get at the end if they are as diligent as you've been?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what's cool about this. You can take it to really whatever level you want. For the first 2 years, I was flipping on my own, 2016 to 2018, just running my business as a solopreneur. Hired my assistant for the first time in 2018 or beginning of 2018, and at that point, doing a few flip every couple months, pretty much. So that's where, I mean, and then you can do great at that if you want. I mean, that's
for sure, man.
What? So, go ahead.
No, I'm wondering, like, what is that? What kind of income are you making when you're doing like one or two flips every 2 months or something like that? What is realistic?
Realistic. I mean, I advise only getting into a flip if there's a minimum of a $25,000 profit minimum. Ooh. But basically you want it to be 10% to 15% of what the after repair value is. On average, it's about 41 on most of the flips that we do here now. So, when you're doing, even if you're doing 6 flips a year, one every other month or so, 40K, you're well over 200K and plus, that's it. You can just grow from there. I mean, so well, I mean, like the big thing too, like I run a marketing agency. I mean, like we have a high monthly recurring, revenue coming in, but we pay a lot of people a lot of money to do a lot of things that we're selling, when you sell a house, I mean, you'll pay the realtor and everything, but at the end you're going to get a check and that's your check. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is after all those expenses.
Yeah. That's your income. Like if my revenue was my income, my God, I'd be crushing it right now. Not that
Yeah.
I'm doing too bad, but it's that's why I like real estate. I definitely want to probably end up dipping my toes into it, because this is, I mean, that's life-changing money. You'd like to have it at, like, one day you didn't have it and the next day you do, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're willing to solve all these problems along the way,
Right.
pot of gold at the end.
That's cool.
But so about 2 years into it, that's kind of where I was at, hitting that 200 to 300K. And then end of 2018, actually, that's when things changed, kind of went to that next level, and actually joined up with 3 other local investors here and formed a group, because I had seen, I'd done business actually with another local wholesaler here. He had sold me a couple houses, but we kept running into each other at properties that we're looking at, and we get the same leads and things somehow, and so we ended up basically forming a group with himself, as well as a real estate agent. I wasn't a real estate agent at the time. I later got my license, but a local real estate agent, and then a local contractor. So now we got a flipper, a wholesaler, a contractor, and a real estate agent, forming a group, Premier Real Estate Group, here on the central coast of California, with the intention of becoming the biggest fix and flip and real estate overall company here on the central coast. So that's when, people ask, hey, when did do you have a team, like all that kind of stuff? And,
Sure.
and then, you have your outside team, as you're building. You have your real estate agent, you have your title company,
Sure.
and all that stuff. But that's when it went from just kind of solopreneur to actually building a much more robust kind of operation there in 2018. So fast forward to now, we're at any given time working on 10 to 15 properties. We're actually looking to triple that by the end of next year, or end of this year, I should say. But basically, so last year we did 33. This year, the goal is to more than double that. We're looking to get to triple digits. That's the 100th goal, and then to kind of go from there. So it's different. It's crazy because I'm not supposed to flip houses anymore. Like, that's not my main role anymore. It's so weird. Like, I feel like I got really good at flipping houses, but then now I'm not.
Now you're the real estate agent? Is that what you're supposed to be doing?
Well, now I'm CEO of the operation. So
yes,
I'm to support, the skill set now is to support everyone else in their roles and really make sure that they're empowered.
Full circle here with Verizon, man.
Yeah, it is in a way.
Yeah,
but it's definitely it's an awesome challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually it's a skill set that I feel like I'm still developing into, very much so. Whereas I feel like I could pretty much say I mastered flipping as a, being able to go in, flip a house, but then to be able to grow and scale a company, it's not the way I pictured it when people are saying, scale. Like, this is it's just different, but it's awesome.
Very different.
It's a challenge though every day. So it's
right.
But it's super cool. I really I enjoy it. I'll admit I do have one of the hardest things I have a tough time with, or have had to overcome, is being able to delegate and being able
to let go.
And let go.
That's right.
It's actually been tough, but it's a progress. So it's a challenge all the time. We're growing, so it keeps it very fun and interesting.
No, that's really cool, man. Now I want to ask you, are you helping people out who who are trying to get into this? Do you have a course? Do you have like coaching? Do you have consulting? Like, what if, let's say I wanted to go flip my first house. I didn't know where to start. Could I go talk to you, or could I go talk to someone on your team?
Absolutely, yes. So I launched Friendly Flipper Academy after having this epiphany of there's more. Okay, so somewhere in between there, we kind of skipped over that, but between 2016 and 2018, it was actually March of 2017, through my real estate, the podcast I was listening to, mentor Justin Williams. Shout out to Justin Williams. I would listen to him. His podcast taught me a ton. But I heard from him, I heard of this guy, this Southern dude, who turned out to be Grant Cardone.
No crap.
And got on his email list, of course, and then ended up getting an invite to the first 10X. And I went for it. It was in Miami in 2017. And that changed my entire outlook on life. Like, as far as like, I was doing so little compared to what I could be doing, like just minuscule. But I walked in there thinking, oh man, I'm working for myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm free from the corporate world for a year. And then I'm surrounded by these people that like own auto dealerships and companies. And I'm like, dang, I feel so
I had that epiphany. I went to a mastermind event in Las Vegas in December, and I'm like a year and a half into my business. I'm doing all right, or almost 2 years. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm hot shit, I'm not waiting tables no more or anything.
Right. Yeah.
I walk in there, like, this guy in front of me tells me he's been spending $80,000 a week on paid ads for Facebook. And I was like, oh, this is a little different.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So that was life-changing. And from that experience, that was like the next quantum leap from, if they could do it, I could do it mentality, to dang, I could be doing so much more mentality.
Yes.
And connected at that point with Grant, with Brad Lee. And that's where, and that evolved into teaching other people how to flip houses through
You got a VT system with Brad?
Yes.
Oh, cool, man.
On Lightspeed, which is start to finish, how to flip houses, how to wholesale houses, how to find them, how to fix them, flip them, finance them, everything. And then that later evolved into what I really specialize in now, which is partnering with people who want to launch and scale their real estate investing businesses. So if someone wants to launch their real estate business, I offer a high-level one-on-one coaching where we basically start to finish, get you set up, get you marketing, get you making offers, getting offers accepted. I fast track and basically give you VIP access to all the financing relationships I already have. So you don't have to go through the process of, oh, you don't have any experience, I can't give you this loan to buy this property. Oh, no, I see you're working with Jeremy. No problem. Go for it, kind of thing. So that's what I offer now. It's called Real Deal Partnership. And basically I help people launch their real estate investing businesses.
Dude, that sounds amazing, man. Like, if you're, if you have, I have a few friends that have flipped a couple houses, and they're, they do all right, but they're still working their 9 to 5, and like, they should just go reach out to you and with their next flip money and get your consulting. And I mean, it's like, it's literally the definition of doing it the hard way. If they don't go to you, why wouldn't you, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you go to someone who's can tell you step by step and shortcut the line with you just said, with the financing and everything. Man, I want to ask a few more questions before we wrap this up. I think I'm gonna have to get you on again because I want to dig into some of like the nitty gritty, like how do you go find a deal and stuff like that. But we're coming up on an hour here, and I don't want to keep you too far after that. This is like some deeper questions, but like, what's the biggest regret you have in your life and why?
Ooh, biggest regret. Not taking more action sooner. I feel like kind of a late bloomer that I discovered, like, I was kind of on this entrepreneur path from a young age, but then I feel like I went I played into the mainstream agenda
Sure.
Yeah, I just kind of like went into that, and then I was there for a long time, longer than I think I should have been. I guess I just didn't explore much outside of that for a really long time. Looking back, I'm like, dang, 11 years. Like, so
Yeah.
I
Not
think
starting sooner. I think that's a great.
not starting sooner. And what would have led to that would just be exploring options. Like, cause that's how I stumbled upon house flipping, was like, so yeah, not starting sooner.
That's cool, man. I'll do a little rapid fire. What's one book you believe everyone should read? Everyone, not just house flippers, everyone.
Ooh. I would say Think and Grow Rich, the 10X rule.
10X rule will trip you up, man. Like,
yeah,
the way it expands the way you think is just wild. When I read that book, it's literally saying whatever you think you can do, right? Just 10X it.
Yeah. Like it just right. It basically takes your mindset and like stretches it.
Yeah, because like that you have to think a different way. So if my goal is to make 25 grand a month, I should be thinking 250,000. Because what you have to do to get to 250,000 is nothing like what you're doing at 25. Yeah, it's crazy. I think that's a great one. So Think and Grow Rich, 10X rule. I'll let you get another one.
Just Rich Dad Poor Dad. That set the foundation
for real estate. Yeah. I think anyone should read it, but like, yeah.
But just mindset wise, like, and that was early on, but yeah, I think those three, that's a good kickstart.
Yeah. Okay. This one's interesting. Take it with you. I can't even say that. If you could go back in time and tell yourself 3 sentences, what would they be? And how old would you be when you told yourself them? You're just like, poof, I can go and be like, hey, I'm you from the future. I can only tell you 3 sentences. Here's what they are. And then poof, you're gone. What would you say?
Stop caring what other people think. Very early on. Don't care what other people think. Just be yourself. No matter if you're whatever you think you are. If you're a nice person, be a nice person. If you're a dick, be a dick. But just be you. Be genuine.
Oh, that is good. Don't be a dick, but like honestly, if you
be you.
Be you. Yeah, I like that.
And if you is a dick, then work on becoming a better person. But at least be be you, be authentic, and people will appreciate that.
Yeah, don't put on a mask.
Yeah, don't put on a mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure. And have an opinion about things.
Have a voice. Have an opinion.
Have a voice. Have an opinion. It doesn't have to be the right opinion, but have an opinion.
Ooh.
Like leaders have an opinion. Like you have a stance. What is it? It's better to fight for something than to stand, for nothing, kind of thing.
I'm right there with you. This is awesome, man. So let's wrap it up. Where can the listeners find you?
Best place to find me is at The Friendly Flipper on Instagram, also on YouTube, The Friendly Flipper, or anywhere on social media at The Friendly Flipper. But I'm most active right now on Instagram with
He's
stories.
got some funny reels coming on and stuff. He's got some nuggets for you guys. You should definitely check him out. At least go follow him. And if you're ready to work with him, shoot him a message. And yeah, or grab his course, dude. If you're thinking about doing this and you're not ready to invest and scale up an entire real estate operation, but you want to flip a few houses, go buy his course, man. I might go buy your course. I'm like, just to dip my toes in the water. Do you ever rent out the houses you're flipping?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I'm not to do that. Short term too, Airbnb.
Ooh, yeah. Because I think like just generational wealth is built that way, and so many people need to be the one in the generation. This should be the generation you can set up the rest moving forward. And real estate's the way to do it, man. They're not making any more of it. Reach out to him. Is there anything that listeners could do to support you? So, I mean, like, you've given a lot of knowledge. There's a lot that you can do to help them out. What could anyone do that would help? Let's imagine that you have everyone in your ideal audience that's listening right now. What could they do to help you out, man?
What could they do to help me out?
Yeah, man. Do you need more deals? Can they send you deals? You send them a commission, or like they?
I can always take more deals. I was gonna say, be the person that they needed when they weren't where they are right now for someone else.
Ooh, that's good, man.
That's the biggest thing they could do for me. And if I could be that person for them when it comes to learning how to flip, they know where to find me.
And he is friendly, guys.
Absolutely.
Dude, thank you so much for being on. It's been a blast, dude. Guys, this podcast is free. I do this for free. I only ask for payment. Your payment is to go and share this out. Share this to people who need to hear this. This episode, you may not be into flipping houses, but there's someone else who you're going to share this out to. Is going to change their lives. Please share this out. Leave a review so we can get more, more clout, more people like Jeremy on the podcast, so that we can keep bringing this knowledge out to the people who need it, because this stuff is life changing. I mean, Jeremy even said it starts with a podcast. He's listening to the same podcast over and over. It changed his mindset. This is it, guys. Share this stuff out. I really appreciate you for listening. And until next time, peace.